the what's name is open, stage is open, stuff like this because that shit is kind of a tailspin when you have conversations like that. People want to deny everybody's shit, and I'm like, well, let's just talk about this here. What y'all think about this? I'm not by my phone, but I hear people coming on. Let me get back to my phone in a second. Who's on the stage?
Peace, peace.
Amadi's on the stage.
Yeah, let's just get down to this fact, right? Because people get heated. I don't know why people get so fucking heated
You
when
said they
people
what?
talks
Yay!
about. It's
I
good.
had to come to the
Let me get in.
A
rooftop.
lot of these niggas are dumb as fuck. That's why they get heated. They don't know shit. There's a lot of niggas on this app that get credited for spreading false information, man. I'm gonna start shutting all that shit down.
Who's that? Who said that?
This
What's up,
conscious. Yeah,
Tony?
I want you to mark this day. You just witnessed one of the niggas y'all glorify the most on this app get called out for his bullshit, then he took off and ran. So we gonna mark this day.
You mentioned it. You're talking about Big E.
I didn't want to say the name because he ain't in here. You know, I said it to his face that he was
Wait!
here,
Oh,
but
that's who you talking about.
yeah,
We put
like
names
I
on
want
it.
to
Who is that?
mark
Yeah.
this day, yay. I
Hold
want to
on,
mark this day.
wait!
Hey man, what's the other nigga
Who is
name? The
that
Dr.
screaming like
Albert
that?
nigga.
Who's
Hold
screaming?
on!
No
Who is
more.
screaming with their little ass
Screaming
voice?
like you need
Hey,
No
help.
more. You sound
hey,
like you're doing
brother!
jumping jacks, brother. What's going on?
Hey,
No more
yay,
love Big E.
brother! Hey, yay! I'm
See,
trying
the
to
thing,
tell
yay,
you.
Wait,
is that they know about the Haitian Revolution.
hold on, hold on, hold on. I want to hear what you said. I
No,
can't
I'm
hear what you
trying
said.
to
No
tell
more.
you. No, it's crazy that Conscious is saying that Big E ran because Big E made a room. I guess
Yeah, I
about
know he
him.
did.
That's
Oh
crazy. The room's
shit.
still going on right now. So it's ironic that I come in here and he's saying Big E ran, but Big E over there saying these niggas was putting out
you came.
misinformation.
You
His
came in
name,
just in
uh,
time.
I
So,
his
swear to
name is
God. And the
Ibrahim
only reason,
Aaron
hold on,
Rain.
He's
real
still
quick,
speaking. He's still speaking. He's still
the
speaking. Hold on.
only reason I
You
left.
need to change that headset you got on, bro.
Bro, I'm at work, yay. Listen, the only reason I left is because Ayana over there trying to, center herself. That's the only reason I left. But I'm glad I did so I can get the real story.
no, it's just these niggas don't. What it is, Jay, is that they know about the Haitian Revolution, but they didn't know about the revolt of Hispaniola. So when he went and researched it, that's when he saw that it said exactly what I told him. The reason when I say Google shit, Jay, is because there's always multiple articles, and I like for people to read the information for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because I can say Jesus was found in Atlanta, and we can go to Google and find an article about Jesus being in Atlanta. But it's like niggas got to learn to start actually doing the research and finding out this information. Because the thing about it is that we got a lot of black people that are in occults, and they don't realize they follow all this false information that's being spread. And niggas be talking about, well, I read this book by this person and that book by that person. But those books that you're reading are still just their perception of information they've read for other people. All of my information comes from me sitting down, breaking down encyclopedias, learning the full history. I can take you all the way back to the beginning of fucking times up to now and show you how all this shit meant. But my point to the whole conversation was just to show the connection between how we got involved with the Native American camps. That was my whole conversation. That's a real good
Okay,
point.
okay, wait. So you got in the native. Wait, is that they getting evicted or they're not getting evicted? That's the
You said
only
what?
process I'm asking about. Are they the one getting kicked out? Because
What
if we're
happened?
asking who getting kicked out,
No,
who getting
this is a
wiped out,
different room, man. It says,
who?
where did the term
No,
Negro come into
Yeah, it's a
play and
different
by
room.
who?
you asked the
Suad, Suad,
question. You
Suad,
put a
Suad.
whole
This
question
Suad,
in
you
it.
gotta stop, Suad. You
I
gotta
swear
stop.
to God, didn't
It's
you
been
not
too
put a
many,
question
too
there or
many
no
years.
question?
Hold on, sis. Too many years, my Muslim sister, and you be still. The title
And
has
what?
changed. This is
And
where we
what?
are.
The name is Title. I'm talking to the person who spoke the last words. I wasn't speaking to Title. Is the name Title?
I'm speaking to the.
I was
Oh no,
not.
we're not. We're not doing that. We're speaking to the title. It's been Ice
Oh,
that
okay.
speak to the
So
title,
you
not what
speak to
you
the
said.
title. The title says, where did the terms of a neat and come
Oh my God.
into play?
What is?
Am I
Okay,
correct?
sure. I got it. I
Is
got
that
it. I
am I
got it.
playing
Get,
correct?
so I'm going to put you downstairs in the basement on punishment, and I'm going to close the lights and let you be down there alone by yourself. Where did the term Negro come into place, and by who? That is title.
I like to open up with that if I may.
Yes, sir. And y'all
Um,
get rid of those pink tickets. Y'all in my house. Take your
oh,
shoes
that's
off.
what's up.
Cypher, what's going on, bro? It's been a minute.
My socks are clean, brother. Got you, got you. So, peace to the room. Thank y'all for having me. Shout out to Big Stank, some other brothers I know on the stage. Um, My studies, from what I understand, Negro, the etymology goes back to the Nagid, the Negid, and it was also an Israelite tribe of people who were specifically the leader of that tribe or clan, right? That's where the Nagid, the Nigid, and all that comes from. And Negro was where the vulgar tongue had also adapted that group of indigenous people to the Iberian Peninsula that were called the Nagid, the Nigid, right? And they were given the word Negro because they were black, which was also a differentiation between or delineation of the verbal expression between those specific group of people and the Moors. And the Negro and the Moors used to fight amongst each other. Fast forward a little bit of history of the expulsion edicts that drove them out of Spain, Portugal, and sent them back, excuse me, majority of them back into Africa, and then flipped them into the transatlantic slave trade, right? There were also Negroes in America that amalgamated with other Negroes from Africa, and because of the skin complexity, they started to just generally call them Negroes up until 1980 with the whole African American, which African American was inserted and first used in 1793.
So
And then
wait,
the
so you
Negro
wasn't
goes
a
back to,
Negro to begin
so
with.
the Negro goes back to 1500 in terms of the term and the etymology of the word Negro, but it is derived from the Negid, the Nigid, the Nagid. And you can track that back to also Saludan or Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
All right.
You put a whole
To,
Arabian in there. You put a
to my knowledge, it comes from the scientific classification of Negroid as opposed to Caucasoid and Mongoloid. That's what I was told.
Now you have some
So
backstory.
y'all, I need y'all to help me ping up the room. I just opened the room, so help me ping up the room, get some more people in here, get their point of view. Go ahead, just help me ping.
Got you. Yeah, that's the dolichocephalic skull is what they would call Negroid. But all of it is interconnected. That's the
Let me
history.
read this. Let me read this right here. Walter Plecker was the one who named the Native Americans Negro. Right. It says here, Plecker asserted that there were no true Native Americans left in Virginia, only mixed-blooded Negroes or individuals with some Indian blood. He believed that he believed he had what is it saying? He believed had intermixed with black individuals. He believed that the mixing of the races was a threat to the purity of the white race and was used to position to implement policies aimed at separating races. Plecker's campaign of bureaucracy genocide included rewriting history to classify hundreds of Virginians Indians as Negro in official records. Walter Plecker did that. So there was an actual point in history
At what time frame?
that Native Americans, again, he's talking about the ones that crossed over the Iberian Peninsula. They labeled them, and this was what Zori was saying
Hmm.
as well, to oppress them equally. So this is facts. Walter Plucker, you can look it up.
Right. So yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong on what I understand you saying is that there was that the reason for that delineation was to differentiate the dark American or Native Indigenous people here versus those that were expelled out of Spain,
No,
Portugal, and came
no,
through the Iberian Peninsula, and then were
no,
also
no.
sold
That's
through
not what you
slave
just heard.
traffic.
He did it to oppress,
Okay.
to
Go
add
ahead.
the
Enlighten.
he. Okay, the Negroes were already oppressed, meaning that when they say Negro, they're talking about persons
Right.
of African descent born in the Americas, right? So or enslaved, one of
Right.
the two, right? So
Or
they're already
enslaved.
being
Yeah. Yeah.
oppressed, right? So now to also oppress the Native Americans, he labeled the Native Americans. This is in 1924. It was influenced in
Negro.
1924,
Right. Okay. I
right?
got what you mean.
To
Yeah.
label them Negro, to keep them keep them oppressed the same,
Mm-hmm.
nothing else.
Correct.
So I do want to hop in and
Correct.
just say that I agree. Okay, I can agree with your idea on Walter Plecker, but that Negro's been around far longer than the early 1900s, anything like that. The Spaniards brought that over here originally when they conquered South America, and they started labeling people Negro again based off of how we view law. Because once you're a Negro or you're considered black, which is what Americans call Negro, aka same thing, it's black. Then it's all for proper, it's all a land grab. Like all of this was just a land grab and to dispel the people that were here, because again the first people that were enslaved on this in this land were Native Americans, and then now we have the history in a sense that that somehow millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of Native Americans were killed by disease and whatnot, and the Africans were brought over, and they never ever talk about the Native American enslaved again, which is insane because then they just call us black, which is what they also called the people that they conquered. Either Negro, black, and then I think colored came a lot further, because again, we consider ourselves black because that's what we know, but how can I say? It's like best way I can put it is everyone will say like racism has always existed, but that's not true. Xenophobia has always existed. Racism was created here based off of people who were non-white Europeans, specifically Englanders in Virginia and Maryland at first when these laws first started, like the miscegenation laws and stuff like that, where you can't marry outside of your particular race. That all started in Virginia and Maryland. So that's a little later than Negro, where they took that term, which classified these enslaved people, aka Negroes or blacks, and they created even more laws. But yeah, and I'm just getting that from this book called sorry, I don't have it. I mean, you can look up the author. Her name's Jacqueline Batalora. It's called Birth of a White Nation: The Invention of White People and its Relevance Today.
Well, I would source deeper into that, sis. You're not 100% wrong at all. But I would say, though, if you could track back racism, it's a white man's invention that first jumped on the scene through whitewashing in the like early mid 1300s after the Second Crusade. And the significance of that is because it was the turning point of black rulership in the Iberian Peninsula. Keep in mind, Spain was the first established European country in 900 CE, right? Now, during this time frame from 1177 to 1492 January 2nd, the Moorish Caliphate has been running that whole area, Spain and Portugal, for 781 years. 1,000 years before that, it was basically ran and managed by Negroes that were expelled out of Syria and Babylon and went into the Iberian Peninsula. And then they fought for the crown, Ferdinand the First, and fought for the crown in the First Crusades. And then this is where you get the story of Yahya the Negro, right? Yahya bin Rabi, who fought for the crown in 10 something CE, him and his son, and they became Lord of the Negroes, where they had Negro village, and it was given to him after the defeat of the Moorish Caliphate in the First Crusade. They gave him Seville, Castile, and Granada. Now, years later, when they started pressing both the Negroes and the Moors, because they were like, white folks was like, oh, we need to get rid of Negroes, period, because this is a dark ages. They're the ones enlightening us. They're the ones running the trade and commerce and all this other shit. We need something for ourselves and all this other fuck shit. So they's like, you know what? We're gonna establish the Roman Church. We got this thing right here, and we're gonna leverage this shit and kick these niggas out. This is where you get the running of the bulls. And that this time they both fought the crown and lost. And when they got expelled, 13,000 families went to Eastern Europe, black exilarchs and the oligarchs that ran South Russia and Germany and Ireland, right? And then there were a group of people that majority of them, 836,000 families, went into North Africa all the way through the Congo and the sub-Saharan areas of South America, not South America, South Africa and West Africa, and they settled in a place according to the map by Emmanuel Bowen in 1747 in this place called Negro Land, right? They had a place that's modern day Ghana, the Mali Empire, next to the Gold Coast that was called the Slave Coast. And if you look at the Slave Coast, the place that they had was called Ouida, which was the land that the Dahomies, the Oyos, the Ashantis, and others were fighting over. And there was 143 villages with newly refugees that were dispatched from Spain and Portugal that were called Negroes, that were hated by the very Moorish Negroes or Moorish people that lived amongst them that were Muslim, and they happened to be Jew refugees. And they had the mulattoes who already had trading posts from the crown that was financing a lot of the mining operations and all of the kingdoms that were running, rampant through Africa, and they were selling those slaves. They were the market go-betweens. They were the arbiters of the slave market, and they went into the South Americas, the Caribs, and then up the Panhandle, where they ran into other niggas that spoke Coptic Hebrew because they were also here in America too. This where you get Geechee Gullah, the Seminoles, and other tribes that started to mix and amalgamate with each other. So some of that is actually true. It's all interwoven in, but when you like take a microscope and you like get into the fine grained details, it makes so much clearer sense, right? And I'm just adding in the details. There's still a lot that I'm still learning, but I would urge you all as I land right here. And thank you for hearing me out. But there, I would ask that you guys look up the Atlantic transatlantic slave voyage and look up oceans of kinfolk, and you'll talk about and that'll tell you about the inter slave trade that happened in America of people that never even went to Europe or
Yeah,
came from Europe or
the, the,
Africa.
the, there's a word Niger, which is in the Bible. The only reason it's in the
Yeah,
Bible is because the Greeks translated the Hebrew. So they put the word Niger. When it gets to France, Niger, which is a country in Africa, right? So you can see that being used earlier on, right? Now, some may say, well, it may have come from Ethiopia, this, that, and the third. Well, I would more argue maybe it's more related to it's just to Semitic languages. However, if it meant king in Ethiopia, and then it gets to Europe, and it just means the spectrum, right? Which side would you want, the older version or the newer version? So today, people are reclaiming something that perhaps they didn't invent contextually to just relegate it to color, right? So I find that to like the education of its origin. I don't think is that known, right? Because people don't look at it as far as, let's say, when it gets to the American shores in New York, they get their accent from certain parts of England. And the same group went up to Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire. So if they're going to say that word, it's nigger. It's not nigger. That's not the way they talk. Certain other parts of England speaks that way. So if you say it that way, that's the reason. You can't. The people that propagated the language came from a different part of England, right? However, the word nigger means the same as nigger 100 years ago. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? And the first documented case of the word is of a blackface person with red lips sitting on a log. It's a poem, and he's talking about he has nothing to do all day, and it's spelled Niggah. So this is I believe it's 1940s.
What do
Um,
were you
so
born in 1940, sir?
can you don't interrupt him,
No,
please?
no, just assuming. Were
No, no, no,
you
no, no. We're
born
not
then?
doing that.
Oh,
We're not
Shuai,
doing
stop
that.
coming on my
Oh,
stage, man. Now I'm about to kick you out the room. I'm sick of you trying to fucking do the same shit all the time. Now I removed you.
But
Damn.
this is evidence.
Every fucking time. Go ahead,
This
bro.
is evidence that anybody can look up. This is history. You should all be able to look up what I'm saying. Don't trust me? Just verify it. So we come up to a day and time where, again, the younger persons tend to not like the older crowd, so they're not going to look at what was going on back then, and we just change it to kind of reclaim it in a sense, but it's ill gotten. It's ill gotten, right? To me, it's kind of like taking a trash can and putting a piece of steak on it and coming to the cookout. If you look at the history of it, it didn't make sense to change it. I'm sorry, reclaim it. If the better thing would be to go back to when it was majestic and use that version of it. Go ahead.
Albert, you about to say something, Albert? Or did he just go out the room and it just didn't remove him yet? So, let me see this. So y'all looked at the etymology of the word, right? Negro. It says the word Negro ultimately comes from the Latin adjective Niger, like the bro just said, which means black, as in color, dark, swarthy. The origin, Latin Niger, pronounced roughly Niger, black. So everything you just said basically was just, I'm just confirming it, and from Latin to involved through the Romance language, Spanish Negro, Portuguese Negro, Italian Negro, now replaced with Nero. The Romance word still means black in color to this day. Used in English, it says entered English in the 1600s, around 1500, borrowed directly from the Spanish and Portuguese explorers and traders who used Negro to describe a sub-Saharan African people face or skin color. Originally used in English simply as the descriptor of black person without necessarily carrying the derogatory connotation and later acquired. Its early English text is often appeared alongside interchangeably with Blackamoor, Ethiopian, and more. Y'all there? Y'all can hear me?
What was the question again?
No, no, no. I'm just reading it. asking you hear me.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
I can hear me if y'all. It says during the transatlantic Atlantic slave trade. I'm sorry, I'm trying to drive and speak, which is dangerous. I don't know if I'm doing it. During the transatlantic slave trade during the 16th and 19th century, Negroes became the standard term to the European and American writers' law and social classification to refer people of African descent. By the 20th century, particularly in the United States, the term began to be seen as outdated and and offensive as people of African descent advocated for more respectful and self-chosen term like Black or African American. So we got some of that there. Hold on, clutching semi. And so it has. It says in the civil rights era of 1950 to 1970, Negro was still used by some organizations, United Negro College Fund, but has since largely fallen out of use of the favor of Black or African American, and that's that way. Okay, so Negro is simply the Spanish Portuguese word for Black, derived from the Latin applied to the African people for European colonizer and traders. That's what we have that there. Anybody could go deeper if you wish. Because at one
Okay.
point I knew it
Yeah,
was
Zori was
derogatory
given
called
that.
people black. Say something?
No, Zori was talking about that just as soon as we got out of the other room. Go ahead, Zori.
Oh, yeah, but uh thank y'all, Cypher and Amadi. I didn't know that. I'm gonna put that in my list of things to research. Again, I'm just coming from what I've learned through the law on this in this continent, well, these two continents basically. That's all I'm coming from. I do know that there was the Spanish and Moorish background. I don't know a whole lot about that, but again, I do need to go back into that and learn more about that. So thank you for the references. I put them in my Google. I'm gonna look it up. But that's what I mean when back to what I was saying with that was like here in this country, or really in South America and North America and the Caribbean, it that is where it became widespread basically. Like, yeah, there's Spain. Spain's a small country, and the Spanish are the ones who came here. So they came here and they started, labeling people Negro, aka, as someone say, traders, or dark skinned people, anything like that. So in their minds, the people here, if you want to go that deep, the people here were either close enough to Africans in their minds, than even Africans now. Like, even today we call ourselves black because we don't know. And that's the unfortunate part. Like, we don't know. We know who they labeled Negro, we know who they labeled black, but the fine details of who those people are, what happened,
Mm-hmm.
it all really concludes with us and the people that we know. So yeah, we don't want to hear our grandparents and what they have, but honestly, their views and what they're saying is probably far more accurate than any of the books that we're reading now. Like, they know who their grandparents were, they know who their people were, they know their histories. That we have a very verbal, I might be saying this wrong, but basically we speak verbally through history because, again, they forced us, by death and imprisonment, that if they found you reading and writing, those were your options. So we had to figure out different ways. So you're going to find out, your grandmother came from a Native American society that we might not even know the name of anymore.
Right.
Or your grandfather came from that, and we don't even know who those people are anymore because they were stripped away, their names, their titles, their
Their
heritage,
culture, their tradition.
everything gone, totally gone, and they were labeled Negro. So that's where I'm coming from. But again,
I'm
thank y'all.
I'm
I
I'm
do
gonna
appreciate
believe my
that.
great grandmother. I'm gonna believe my great grandmother talking to you, Zori, over anybody else. What the fuck they got to say? Like, I don't care. Like, some people don't understand that traditions are traditions and stuff like that. So what they do is try to, dispel what's going on when they start saying, "Oh well, oral tradition." And I don't believe what everybody else say. Like, so if I try to connect the dots here, right? They said in Virginia, the guy Plecker had took those natives. He said in Native America, that's what he said, and then he labeled them black, right? Um, how can he label them black if they're not a certain color of skin? Because the ones that are native now, they are lighter skin, look more European or Asian. Why would he label? How can he label them black? You follow me? So I got this one girl that's on the app. I tried to ping her in here. Her name is Rose, Megan Rose, very pretty. But I said to her, I said, "Hey, are you what do you identify as?" She said, "Well, the last time I checked, I was black." Guess who she looked like? A Pocahontas. That's how she looks. She's dark. She's darker though.
Hey,
She's like Missouri's complexion.
I ain't
What's
want
up,
to cut you off, but even in the movie, they got Pocahontas looking, you know what I'm saying, looking like one of us. Like she don't look like a, you know, she look just
hmm
like one of us. I mean, even though that's a cartoon, but they doing it in a real image of the person.
And I don't understand why y'all keep saying that all of the people were annihilated. It was 80 million they quote unquote said that they killed. But then it also has 416 treaties that have been broken since we don't know when. So if all of the people were annihilated and y'all feel as though they look like a certain people, how can that even be true if treaties were broken 416 fucking times? Does it make sense to you? And then when they say people are from a different region, say they go to Cali or Utah or something like that, where it's cold, and then even breezy. So you come down to Florida and you see the bros are black as hell. They don't have any Haitian descent in them. African, they don't say anything that they're African anything. I'm not trying to dispute that Africans came and whatever, but at the same time they dark as hell. That's because what? Because they were by the equator. It's hotter. And if you say humans adapt, well then if
Hold
somebody say
on.
they're not, if they have said what? If people that say they're not something, they've been and their family are here for a long ass time, but then you have a group of people that try to misplace them. Like I mean, like can we connect the dots at one point? Hmm? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of confusing and it hurts when people try to disrespect everyone else's knowledge because of what they read or what the same people that tried to get rid of melanated people all over the fucking world. It's kind of confusing. What you say, Breezy?
Oh no, I just said hello. But this is the thing. The term negro, played by who? People don't know what I am. Anywhere I go, they can't even fucking figure it out. I'm American. That's it. That's all.
And you fine. Good morning, Breezy.
So that's just like what it is. So I don't understand if people can't like why even people even care. But I am a melanated person, negro in a connection, you know. But that's the way it goes.
Hey,
That's a
so
fact,
at
Breezy.
one
What you
point
say,
in
Dirty?
history, did they start using the word Negro? Because I think they started was it in the 1900s or
No,
mid
about
1800s?
14. Negro been
Go farther back
Negro.
than that.
They started
Lord
classifying black
I
people
gotta
as that.
look some shit up. Okay.
I'm asking you. I'm not asking you shit I don't know. I'm
No,
asking you to
I
spark the
already.
No.
conversation.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead
Wait, hold
though.
on. Here we go. So this one says 1600. Yeah, 1600 to the 19th century. 1550. 1550s. By the. That's when it entered the English in the 16th century. So we'll say 16 is really the 15th century. So it's being used longer than we think. Follow me?
Copy, copy.
It didn't just
Uh,
start when you became a nigger. Sorry.
nah, I'm using that as a term when they started classifying black people as that because throughout history, every so maybe I say 100 years that they classify black people as something different. Like right now, we classified as African American, right?
We big
Before that,
friend.
before that, it was classified as Negro. Before the 70s. So, I'm just trying to figure out what it's gonna be next. Like they the ones giving these classifications. We just are what we are.
No,
They just put the name on
you're
it.
that's a identity thing. That's not the way that these things work.
I'm saying
That
we're
there
not from Africa, so how could we be African Americans? I know that's a dumb, it's a
I'm
simple question,
not
but
from Africa.
That's just some shit they
Sorry.
labeling. I can
See,
label
Like,
see,
them.
see the,
Crenshaw
the,
I can
Mafia,
the,
label them as
the
European
African
Americans.
booty
If that's the
scratcher.
case, I can
yep.
label them
now the
European
Well,
Americans.
we're not gonna discourage people. Like we're grown. We ain't gotta do that shit because that shit used to go on when we was kids. African booty scratchers, spirit chucker. We ain't gotta do all that, bro.
No,
But
I was quoting
uh,
Boys in the Hood.
More
That's
in the
all.
hood shit.